how do we set realistic wellness goals? Let's ask the expert now. Joining us is, as you heard, three-time Olympian and, of course, the co-founder of Raw Fitness, Sarah Lindsay. Sarah, great to have you with us.
Thanks for having me.
What's the Raw House view on resolutions? You a big fan for January the 1st, all change?
I'm a big fan. We get lots of new clients, right? But no, I think some of that comes down to the fact that you've had this time between Christmas and New Year, and people are sitting around and they're full up and not feeling their best, and they've actually got time to sit and think about it. So I think that's why we see a huge surge in inquiries on Boxing Day, very specifically on Boxing Day. So of course you're gonna help people. They want to train and they're ready, and like I said, they've had this time to think about it. So we facilitate.
But then doesn't that actually are you making realistic challenges to yourself? Are you making realistic decisions in that sort of environment? Is it imperative that you set yourself realistic goals or not?
Of course, they need to be realistic. If they're unrealistic, I always think that you should try and set your goals high. But when people come into us, it's not for me to tell them what they should or shouldn't want or what their goals are or aren't. They tell us, and then we facilitate whatever that is. So if people are coming in super motivated this time of year, then it makes our job easier. They're motivated.
Sarah, you're a three-time Olympian. You retired in 2010 as an athlete, and since then you've coached so many people, so many celebrities in particular. How has your approach towards fitness changed in the last 15 years?
Wow, I think obviously the industry develops and it grows and evolves, and I've seen a huge change in what people used to ask for 15 years ago to what they ask for now. So I'm obviously big on weight training and getting stronger, and I used to have to convince people that they should weight train. And now everybody wants to weight train. Everybody knows that they should, or that it's going to be beneficial to them. And so I don't have to talk them into it anymore, but a lot of people don't know how to do it. So then they still need our help in making sure that they're doing things right.
Because weight training is one of those things that you're most prone to injury if not done the correct way. So I think it's important to have a professional next to you, especially if you're doing heavy weights. You agree?
I agree that it can be important to have somebody making sure that you're doing correct form, because that is where you can be vulnerable or at risk of injury. But people, I think of weight training as dangerous because there's heavy equipment around, but you're doing this in a slow and controlled manner. It's done in a safe way and in a safe environment. You're not throwing dumbbells in the air, so it's much safer, I think, than a lot of people would perceive it to be. I think you're more likely to trip over running or fall off a curb running than you are actually dropping a dumbbell on yourself, for example. So I think it's safe, but it does obviously help to make sure that you're doing correct form.
But obviously, people, when they look at fitness, they always look at the purely physical changes that they will gain. And a lot of people rush into it and want that change very quickly. So how do you change that mindset within your clients to make them focus more on their health as a priority and then the aesthetics of it?
Well, I think, like I said, I won't tell people what their goals are, and if people want to look better, I completely understand that, and that is what the majority of people want when they first come in, but that can't be the daily focus, because you don't see those changes every day, so you'll lose motivation very quickly. I think it's important to focus on the performance in the gym. You've set these goals, you've made a plan on how to achieve them, and then you can tick those days off. If your program is periodized and designed over an amount of time to get you the results, you can see the weights going up, you can see that you're achieving every session, and that's what will keep you motivated, not if you're losing this or gaining that because you don't see it on short term.
I think that's the thing that demotivates a lot of people, because everyone thinks it's a fast turnout, but it actually takes at least 6 months to see a proper change. So does that also do you also focus on the nutrition side of things, because that also adds in with the recovery as well?
Of course. I mean, you just covered them actually. There's, I think, 4 pillars to health and fitness, and you need to look at your training, you need to look at your nutrition, mental health is obviously super important, and your recovery as well. So you've got these 4 areas, and if you take care of each of them, or at least set yourself a goal, just one goal in each, then you know that you're making progress and all those areas are covered, because they'll cross over and interlap massively.
Let's talk about my favourite area, the recovery bit as well.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone is wearing a ring or a bracelet or a watch or something that's monitoring everything that's going on.
You're
and
already
telling
protesting it.
I'm not protesting anything. I promise you. It's just
No.
everyone's got so much information.
Yeah.
And you are being given so much information about what you're doing right and what you're doing wrong, etc. But what's the house view on recovery at the moment? 1 day off and 1 week off? Can we do it?
Everybody's different. Everybody is different, and people need different amounts of recovery in between their training. I think the wearables, it's just information. The more you know and the more you learn, the more likely you are to implement the right things.
Right.
But I do think also that, you know, 1 ice bath a week or, you know, an IV drip or whatever isn't the answer. You have to take care of the fundamentals. You have to look at your sleep. So important. What are you doing to help yourself sleep better? If you're somebody that scrolls for an hour before you go to bed, or
Why
you
are you
go to bed
looking at me,
really
Tom?
late, or you eat your dinner really late and it's going to affect your digestion, that will impact your sleep. So if you can just make these small changes, just go to bed half an hour earlier, it will make such a huge difference to the amount you recover.
Listen, I'm a little bit guilty of that, so there's a reason why Tom looked in my direction. Sarah, we see so many people, not just celebrities, but your everyday people switching to weight loss injections. Ozempic and Mounjaro are very much on the rise right now. What is your take on this? Is it safe for people to take this, and do you recommend it?
I don't recommend it at all. I think, you know, if somebody is extremely overweight and they have health implications because of this, and they've tried everything else under doctor's supervision, who am I to say that they shouldn't do it? But I also see a lot of people who are already slim, who are just trying to be thinner. And I thought that we'd moved past this. I thought we all knew that we should be strong. And I just think that we've just taken this massive step back, and there are, you know, very negative implications with taking this medication as well. If nothing but the muscle loss. If you lose weight that quickly, you lose muscle. So that will bring your metabolism down, it will make you weaker, and long term, that's catastrophic.
Great advice. Sarah, please stay with us. There's so much more we want to talk to you about. Next up, we will be chatting to a family medicine doctor to find out what she recommends when it comes to starting the new year as we mean to go on. Stay with us.